Usually we have two major aspects. One is economic reason, the other is social reason. So for economic reason, usually we say that these areas of hazardous region, most of them can be found in less developed country. Obviously, we have some high income country like Japan, US, but then most of them in the active region would be, let's say, in the Southeast Asia, along the Pacific Ring of Fire, right? For the economic reason, why people are staying behind, first of all, maybe they don't have enough capital. They don't have enough money to relocate, don't have enough money to migrate, because migration is very costly, both in terms of capital, in terms of time, in terms of mental energy. But then since we're talking about economic reason, we say that when people do not have enough money, they are not going to migrate because, well, on one hand, they don't have the money to afford the migration. Maybe they cannot afford the transportation, or maybe they cannot afford buying another property or renting another property in a new place, or maybe they can't find another job in the new destination. That would be a huge resistance or huge barrier for people to overcome when they decide to migrate or not. The other economic reason would be maybe it's a high cost of living in the destination. So again, the concern over money would be a reason why people stay in the area. Other than not having enough money, maybe they can make a lot of money in where they're staying. So for example, in Japan, the many people relying on the tourism industry that benefits from the hazardous environment. So for example, Volcano is a huge tourist destination. Mount Fuji, right? Have you been to Mount Fuji? Yeah, it's really pretty, right? So that if you think about why you want to go, so the volcano itself is an attraction to people, attracting tourists. So I remember I went to the Mount Vesuvius in Naples, Napoli. Other benefits of volcanoes would be hot spring, right? So in Japan, there are a lot of hot spring, famous hot spring resorts, because there are active volcanic activities. So creating these hot water stream, so that is called the onsen in Japan. So attracting a lot of tourists with so-called health benefits, right? And also there are geyser. Geyser means it is a pool of hot water that will eject from time to time. So in Cantonese, we call that gan kitchen. Wow. Apart from geyser, then if you think about tourism, the key is to attract people to travel to that destination. Then you can basically make money off tourists because they need to eat, they're going to buy, they're going to travel. So the transportation also means that they're going to spend money in that location. So when they have such a good attraction, volcano, onsen, geyser, then that is going to benefit the tourism. So the local people, they can make a lot of money, not a lot, but they can make a living out of the tourism industry. For example, the onsen resort, they're going to hire a lot of people. Maybe they need the restaurant, they need the cleaner, they need receptionists, they need transport related staff, let's say the coach driver, bus driver, taxi driver, train driver, and a lot of related personnel. So that is going to provide an opportunity for local people to make a living. So that will be causing inertia in people's mind. Inertia means laziness, resistant to change the status quo. So that is inertia, meaning staying in the comfort zone, basically. So because it's too comfortable, why leave the comfort zone, right? So that is inertia. So that is the economic reason. We also have social reasons for people continuing to live in the region. For example, social ties. When you are grow up in that place, you have different social ties. Let's say with your family, with your friends, with the neighbor, with whatever people in that community or in that neighborhood. So if you migrate, you relocate away from that location, you are going to lose the social ties, and you have to re-establish or establish new social tie in the new environment. So for people who are older, or let's put it this way, the older a person, the less likely he or she is going to do that. He is going to re-establish or establish new social ties because it is time consuming and it is effort consuming as well. Just imagine you have to change school every single year. That is not a good experience because when you go to a new place, you have to familiar yourself with the people, with the location, make new friends. Maybe some people are not very friendly to you, then you will have some enemies or yeah. So that process is a bit time consuming and effort consuming. Another one, social, would be collective memory about the location where you are grown up. So someone is less likely to migrate if he or she has been in that location for a long time. So it is about the memory or the home or the homeland or motherland. So whatever word you want to choose, it is about the resistance to leave one's homeland. So if you think, oh, Hong Kong is very good, like I've been living in Hong Kong for so long, so convenient, then you're less likely to migrate to another city because you have to get used to that new place, you have to adapt, and that takes time and effort. Social reason could be low education level and low awareness of the hazard events. So some people in less developed country where they're not really educated or received formal education, their awareness of hazard events could be rather low. They can just think that, oh, it is just a natural disaster and that is the act of God. So we cannot fight the God. We cannot fight the nature. It is what it is, right? So they will think that we cannot do anything to that. And even in the ancient China, usually whenever they had natural disaster, natural hazard, the people there or in the past will think that it is the God's message saying that the emperor is not doing his job. So we say that these traditional mindset or basically not very scientific mindset is likely to be a reason stopping people from moving.